welcome to my kitchen. I'm Célinie and this is Célinie's Kitchen. So I thought that today I would just spend a few moments with you explaining or describing how we can replace dairy products in cakes and cookies. For those of you who are vegan for all sorts of reasons, dietary, nutritional, political, or if you're baking for friends or family who are vegan for all the same reasons. So one of the easy replacements to do is to replace dairy or milk with some other kind of milk. Nowadays, you know, you can go to the store and you can get almond milk, cashew milk, coconut milk. Oh, that's so nice. Soy milk. And so it's just a straightforward replacement, you know. If you have 8 ounces of dairy milk, you replace it with 8 ounces of whatever your dairy you're replacing with. So that's an easy one. Now, of course, you can make your own almond milk, cashew milk. You can make your own soy milk. This is actually, you know, traditionally soy milk was all this whole boiling water method, which took away the beanie flavor. It was really good. But this one woman, I'll show you the book, she's actually quite interesting. She figured out this way, completely non-traditional way of making soy milk. Of course, soy milk has been made, you know, people have been making soy milk for like 2,000 years. She found this completely non-traditional way of making soy milk, where to get not to have that beanie flavor, she doesn't soak the beans, and traditionally you would soak the beans for 24 hours and all that. So if that, you know, if you make your own soy milk, you might want to check her out. Her name is Miyoto Schinner, and I've probably completely massacred her name. I'm very sorry. But so it's in this book, quite an interesting book. I'll put her name, I'll write it out properly, even though I don't pronounce it properly. So she has this interesting way of making soy milk. So, you know, you can do all this. Now, some of us, you know, are vegan partially because we can't, our digestive system won't properly digest milk. I can actually have small amounts of fermented goat's milk. So sometimes I'll replace it with soy milk or almond milk. Sometimes I'll replace the dairy with another form of dairy, but fermented dairy, fermented goat milk, kefir. So, you know, if that works for you. And even, you know, if I'm making cookies that you don't really need the fermented milk taste, I will still sometimes replace it with fermented goat milk kefir because I can handle it and the cookies still taste really good. So that's a fairly easy replacement. And again, if you have questions or comments or your own ideas about that, feel free to chime in. Replacing butter, because cookies and many cakes made with butter are absolutely heavenly. I mean, pound cake without butter, how can it be pound cake? So one thing that I do is I replace all that butter, and I've been doing this for years, with coconut milk. Now, not coconut milk, I'm sorry, coconut oil. I really like coconut oil. I love the flavor of coconut oil. So if I'm making a cake and I'll make it with coconut oil, it just has this slight hint of coconut with the chocolate. Oh, it's wonderful. But those of you who really don't like the flavor of coconut oil, and I'm staring at my daughter over there, you can get, I'll show it because I can't remember the name of it. Hi. Sorry, this is my cat. He's not supposed to be on the counter, I'm sorry. My kitchen is definitely not a restaurant kitchen. Anyway, I caught him in the act. So he's a lovely cat though. His name is Merlin. Look at that. He's actually very shy. He has no idea he was on camera. But so, this is just regular organic coconut oil, which of course, because it's still kind of cold, is hard. You know, in the middle of summer, in my part of the world, it gets so hot that it's actually oil, you know. And this is one that doesn't actually have any flavor. Oh, it's refined coconut oil. So ours is good, you know, to replace the butter in cookies and in cakes. I think if it was really hot and I was making a cake, well, I know, if it was really hot and I was making a cake and my coconut oil had melted, I would put it in the fridge, because this texture, I'll show you with a knife or a fork, this texture, or a spoon, is absolutely perfect for, oh, I'll have to get a fork, sorry. I have a helper behind the camera there who got me a fork. This texture is perfect for creaming. You know, if you're making a cake using the creaming method, look at that. It's perfect texture. It's kind of like a room temperature butter, you know? So that's perfect. If you're putting it in the fridge and it's really, really hard, you might have to wait a bit or put it in a pot of hot water to get it all in this. This is perfect texture. Even for cookies, it's perfect texture for creaming it all together. Now, when you're making cookies, because of that lovely texture, you can actually cream it with a nice wooden spoon. It works perfectly. So, other people, I guess, to replace butter, sometimes you can replace it with oil. Cakes in particular, like a nice pound cake, which I was saying, how can you make pound cake without butter? But you can. I've been making pound cake without butter for years, either with coconut oil or even just with oil. And then, of course, I don't use the creaming method. I'll mix it with the butter. I'll mix the oil with the sugar, and I'll use my trusty KitchenAid and just mix it, and then I'll add the flour and whatever, the egg replacement or the eggs if I'm making it with eggs. And that works very well as well. And some people actually like the texture. The texture's a bit different. The flavor's still very good of a pound cake made with oil or made with coconut milk. Now, if you're using gluten-free flour and you're replacing the butter with a bit of oil, you're going to have to put a wee bit less because gluten-free flours absorb the oil a bit differently. So in a classic pound cake, I would put 8 ounces of butter, 8 ounces of flour, 8 ounces of milk. I will replace, in fact, I don't put 8 ounces of milk, but I will replace, instead of putting 8 ounces of fat, I'll put 6 ounces of fat, so as not to make it too oily. But that's just with the gluten-free flours because they absorb oil a bit differently. So that's a fairly straightforward, simple replacement as well. And with a few of these hints, you should be able to go into the kitchen and mix up a batch of cookies and experiment and try different stuff and have fun doing it, and then share it with friends and family. And that is the ultimate fun of cooking. So anyway, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll be very glad to try and answer them, and hopefully we'll talk again soon. Bye. Dans la cuisine de ces